My name is Matt Davis, and I am the founder/director of Mettar Simulations, which is a software development company specializing in, maybe most of you are familiar with something called Project Fly. Round of hands if you are. Anyone use it? This is going to be super easy. Nice. Okay. We kind of branched away from Project Fly, and we have gone into the realms of aircraft development, and also we are developing something called SimStall, which is an e-commerce platform for simulators. We'll talk about that in just a minute. It's a pretty short time. I have 30 minutes, so trying to get everything out there in that space of time isn't easy. I went to Cosford in October last year, and this sort of presentation should have happened there. But everything failed, so I had to wing it, and it wasn't so great. So hopefully today it will be good. Let's take it back. Mettar was founded in 2017. The name, a lot of people are confused by. Anyone familiar with Twitch? Twitch TV, it's a live streaming platform. Well, for those of you that are not, the chat. It's a live stream. I live stream my flight simming and sometimes various other things. And a part of that is a live chat. And it does really bring the best out in people. And that is what came out of it, that name. I asked for a company name because I needed one. And people said that you should use your name, a.k.a. Matt, and drop the A, changed it to an E because, I don't know, people like to call me Met instead of Matt. I don't know why that is. And thus, Mettar Simulations was born. So we've been around since 2017. First of all, the very first thing that we brought out was PTA, which is a shader tool that I purchased from a Russian developer that no longer wanted to support it. So I purchased it off him and then resold it. And then after that, Project Fly was a kind of a secondary thing. And then we recently, or not recently, about a year ago, we announced that we were doing an Airbus A380 for P3D and X-Plane, which, again, I'll talk about very briefly in a moment. So, coming back this time last year, everything was going very well. And like everything in life, things happen, companies have issues, and we were no exception. And we were delayed by probably about 9 to 12 months in our development cycle. So, everything that is releasing probably within the next month or so really should have come out this time last summer, but due to, again, some problems, we weren't able to do it. However, since December of last year, we have hired now a team strong of 10 people, of which they have provided some absolutely flattering images. This is Carlos. He's one of our senior developers, and also Marcus. Marcus is the guy that's working on a rewrite of the current PTA that we sell, and Carlos, who is an he's one of the I think he's a CTO or one of the really high up developers of Groupon. If you're familiar with the coupon site, I think it's a coupon site, pretty popular. He's come across to work on SimStall, and very, very nice guys. He's from South America. Marcus is from North America. The team is all over the world, as it has been since we began. And we just kind of left a little space there. If anyone, and I say this because most of the people don't realize that we're ever hiring, if there's any software developers in the building, you're looking for a job, please head to our website. And if something fits your need then or want for a job, then please apply. We're always looking to expand the team. So that's the team out the way. Next, just want to briefly touch on SimStall. So how many of you use Steam, the gaming platform provider thing? Yeah, cool. All right, there's a fair few of you. So flight sim is weird. I think we're probably one of the most underdeveloped industries when it comes to distribution of add-ons, distribution of platform updates, and also management of things like DRM, serial numbers, email addresses associated with serial numbers, et cetera, et cetera. There isn't really an all-in-one place where you can just buy everything. It's in a library. You don't need to put in any serials. You can just download everything, and then away you go. That's the whole idea of SimStall. It's been in the works now. The idea has been around for about 2 or 3 years, but only in the last sort of 6 to 8 months have we really been hammering the development of it. So Carlos has been leading that project, and without saying too much, again, short period of time, I want to get through a bunch of other stuff. You should start to see a reasonable amount of previews from it within the next, maybe just before Christmas this year. We're aiming to round out most of our primary development by the end of 2019. So if you are a developer, you may like to know about a few things. The first thing is the commission-based stuff. Right now, I mean, every reseller is different, but I've seen commissions as high as 45%, as low as sort of 25%. We managed to crunch some numbers, and we are pretty confident that we can offer developers in the range of between 8 and 12%. You'll be able to support your customers. We'll give you exactly what you need in terms of support forum, ticket systems, and really anything that you require, we'll push your way. We have a full-time team, so the idea is if you need it, we will endeavor to provide it if it keeps you with us. That's kind of what we want. Again, we will offer customers one-click purchasing and installing into the simulators. Also, we'll give you the option to just upload files through some sort of manifest system, and then you will be able to push out seamless updates to the people that have purchased your products. And for those of you that are really interested in the Project Fly side of things, we will have Project Fly integration, which will essentially allow your customers to see your products depending on where they're flying within the ecosystem of Project Fly. If you're an end user, then we will restore, back up first, your simulator in its current state. We'll detect on the fly whether your simulator is in a state where it can be restored. And then if you have a problem, like we all do, where we need to reformat computers and reinstall everything, just hit a button, and it will restore everything into your computer as you had it when it was actually working. Same as the developer support, also customer support is available. So if you have a problem or anything like that, you can reach out directly to the developer, and they will, well, I hope they will most happily help you. For Project Fly, if you're a user of Project Fly, which a vast majority of you are, then you will be able to see it integrate with that very well. If you go to fly from, let's say, Heathrow to JFK, and you don't have scenery for JFK or you don't have scenery for Heathrow, it will recommend what is available in the store for your specific platform at the time of the flight. And also, if you are a user of our dispatcher, you will be able to buy all of the product or all of the dispatch add-ons through that platform as well. We'll also support freeware, so if you're, for example, your favorite repainters, they'll be able to upload all of their liveries and anyone that creates AFCAD files, modifications to the simulators. And again, this is inclusive of P3D, inclusive of X-Plane, and any others that you can probably think of. I reckon DCS, Aerofly, etc., etc. So, moving on from that, if you'd like to visit any or get any information, you can visit our website, mettarsim.com, and there's a wealth of information. We've kind of been updating that now for the last sort of 12 to 16 months, although it's been a little bit lacking recently, but we will definitely get back on that bandwagon. Okay, so next up is a product we have called PTA, Prepared Tweak Assistant. Again, I told you at the beginning, I bought this off a Russian guy in 2017, June time, just maybe a bit before. He didn't want it. It was originally freeware. We took it off him. The idea was actually to continue it to be freeware, but unfortunately, he wouldn't accept a reasonable amount of money for it, so I had to essentially invest in it and then recuperate the cost like any business would. I don't have tens of thousands of dollars to spend on stuff like that. And for the last 2 years, people have been buying it, people have been using it, and everyone has been pretty positive towards it. And so Marcus, who is the guy I spoke about in the beginning, has been tasked with the role of essentially redeveloping the whole thing from scratch. So none of the old legacy code is available to any of the users. That brings in a wealth of new features, including things like the ability to share profiles with other people on the fly. You can also do things like view your tweaks in the sim without having to reload. And also, if you are a fan of any of the reflection stuff, then the reflection stuff will be brought in as well. You've got Lockheed Martin to thank for that. I know they're here today. They brought PBR into version 4.5. So that's on the PTA front. As far as is it going to cost anything? Well, we had to hire Marcus, therefore we have an outlay in cost. If you want to continue using the current version, we will still continue to support that through all of the P3D versions, but there will be no added features. If you want to upgrade, there it is. It's £2.99 or $3.99 in dollars, and that will be available within, definitely before the end of the month. I've got to get back to the UK first before we can release this, so just say by the end of June, we'll go for that. Okay, the A380. How many people actually know about this? I'm curious. Okay, damn. I don't have any pictures of it, I'm sorry. We did have some, and we tried to show them at Cosford, but I was told to talk about it because when we announced it, it's always the age-old thing with flight sim. You tell people you're going to do something, and then they constantly sort of nip at your feet, and they want to know everything about it and where it's going. The A380 is one of those things that we started with an intention of doing it on the side, and as things changed, as time went by, we have changed direction in not just the development of this, but in the development of a number of other things. So, is it still in development? Yes, it is. Will we see it? I would hope so. And is it going to be more than the A380? Well, I'll just say yes. And once I have all of the details finalized with the people that are being involved in this, then I'll be able to talk more about it. So I know people will be a bit disappointed that there's not some like high-flying demo of it. Trust me, I would love to show it in its current state as much as everyone would love to see it. But I think I'd probably be kicking myself in the foot if I did that. So let's just not. Okay, Project Fly. So Project Fly is now approaching the end of version 3. We're about to release version 4. And the kind of fly on the wall amongst everybody is the dispatcher. Has anyone heard me talk about the dispatcher before? Is this something that we know about? One person, that's interesting. I'm not doing my job good enough. Okay, so the dispatcher is, actually, let's go back. Who uses SimBrief? PFPX. Okay, so you know what a dispatcher is then. So we have partnered with a company called Aviation Cloud, who is a sister company of 4Flight, who is a sister company of Boeing. And normally they don't actually bother with simulation enthusiasts. I tried about 2 or 3 years ago to get in contact with them, and they essentially told me to get lost. But I persevered, and thus they oblige. So Aviation Cloud is a company that dispatches real-world flights to airlines. An airline will provide Aviation Cloud with the departure and arrival, maybe some payload information or something like that, and Aviation Cloud will spit back to them a fully validated, everything correct operational flight plan and a flight briefing. That includes things like wind charts, waypoint diagrams, and stuff like that. So we've been working on this now for the past 6 months, give or take, and this is what it's starting to look like. So you can see on the left-hand side, we have kind of like the radar-esque look to it. You have a bunch of different sections that you need to fill out, and then once you've done that, they'll go green, and then that will spit out things at the bottom that you can export, et cetera, et cetera. You have a full weather radar, which is just to the right of it. You can see on the right-hand side, and also we denote the route on the map as well. It looks pretty simple, but actually it's pretty complicated. When we were designing this, it took so long because you could really make quite an overly complicated bit of software, and I don't think that would bode well to most users. So having it as sort of a middle ground was what we were aiming for, and I think we've done pretty well. There's a quote from Aviation Cloud: custom constraints such as minimizing time or cost, avoiding FIRs or countries, bypassing weather, or even custom-defined airspace provides operators with an extremely flexible way of consistently implementing the business logic that matters most. This results in 4D route trajectories with both lateral and vertical optimization that stay overland, avoid terrain, and meet all other designated constraints. You can do all that. People may not want to, but hey, everyone loves options. Okay, so here's how it's going to work. Currently, Project Fly has 3 tiers. They have free, there's a silver tier, there's a gold tier. We're getting rid of the silver tier and the gold tier, and we are introducing something called a supporter tier, which starts from 99 pence, or like whatever the equivalent in dollars is. And that essentially replaces the gold tier. If you want to buy the dispatcher add-on, then that is going to cost you $6.99 per month, and that should be available to you within the next, I reckon, well, we'll say again before the end of the month. We'll go with that. This is some more previews of how version 4 actually looks. As you can see, it's the same type of functionality as what is in version 3. People seem to like the version 3 app, so we've just refined how the UI looks and sort of the visuals And I'm very impressed with it. Our lead designer, Govan, can't pronounce his surname. We try so many times. Is completely responsible for this, and he's really done a fantastic job. And we now have these new swanky little blips that you can toggle on and off. You can see the aircraft's image instead of having it on the sidebar for those of you that don't want to open that data. Also, in version 4 is this thing. The amount of times that I have gone to do something like stream or just fly within Flight Sim, and I can't decide where to fly. Well, this is pretty cool. You can just enter a departure airport and then add a time constraint. And using our Schedule Explorer, it will tell you exactly where you can fly within that circle, within that time constraint. So that makes your life easier when it comes to selecting flights. This is a new passport. So this is every time you fly to a new country, it essentially lights up that country. You can click on the country, and it will show you what you've done within those countries, and then you can click on the lines, and that will pop up the flights that you've done as well. As far as bragging rights, because everyone loves those, since this is stats, actually, no, it's not since January. I don't know why that's been put there. But in total, we've got just over 45,000 users, and the January point is valid. Since January of this year, we've gone up by 41% in active users. So I've no idea who's screaming and shouting our names from the rooftops, but if you recommend us, thank you very much. Again, back to the pricing, just in case I didn't make it clear enough. And that's Project Fly in a nutshell. So if you, as I said, if you're looking for a job and you're a software developer, that's really the only vacancies we have right now, then please head over to mettarsim.com. I don't know what time I've got left. Let me just check. I have got about 10 minutes left, 8 minutes left. So I will take some questions because why not? We all love Q&A. So if anyone's got any questions, then please raise your hands and let me know. Anyone? Okay, well, that's good. 8 minutes of doing nothing. All right, in that case, I will leave it there. And thank you very much for coming out. I hope you're enjoying your Flight Sim Expo 2019. Enjoy the weather.